So thank you everyone for your patience. Apparently a storm has also just hit through in Queensland. I'm actually in Dubai at the moment. I've been here for last month. So it's beautiful and sunny for myself. But we won't waste any time. I know that we'll still have a few people rolling in. I see that we've got quite a few people that have already joined us. So let's get started. Today I am probably not going to do a very good job of pronouncing your last name, so I'm just going to say Olesia. Kostieieva. You'll have to apologize. I've actually been trying to practice learning pronouncing all of these Russian, and because there's a lot of Russians here in Dubai, and Arabic names. So it's definitely something that I need to work on and improve. But I'd like to welcome you and thank you so much for today for taking the time to share a little bit about Grineo Pay and your new expansion into Australia. So before we jump over, and I'm going to let Alicia give a little bit of a background of herself and her role in the crypto and Web3 space. But before we do that, I'm just going to go through a few upcoming events and a few kind of announcements. First thing I like to do is just say thank you to all of our sponsors that make these events happen. If you want to learn more about our sponsors, you can go ahead and go onto our website and you can check them out and you can learn a little bit more about them. Grineo Pay has just come on board as one of our 2025 sponsors, so we're very excited to have them on board, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about their platform because I know that they've just recently launched in Australia and kind of got some cool features for us to learn about. We also have some collaboration partners. I just like to take a chance to acknowledge Wave of Innovation. We've recently partnered up with Australian Crypto Convention, Women in Digital Economy, and Off-Chain. These are all other community organizations that we basically collaborate with our goal of growing the Web3 ecosystem. These events and ATB wouldn't happen without our team. So my name is Danielle Marie, and I'll do a little intro on myself. I'm the founder and driver, but the overall of ATB and the success wouldn't happen without our team. So I always like to give them a little bit of acknowledgement. We're always looking for more people to join our team and volunteers to help us, as we are a nonprofit association. So we run off a shoestring budget and always welcome new people that would like to join the team. We are also asking for help to help us kind of grow our online community. We've always been focused in real life in Queensland, but this last year we've been really focusing on doing a lot more online events, and we do live streaming of all of our events. So if you are on the socials, please give us a follow, whether that be on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, now called X. We would appreciate that. We have recently launched the Community Hub newsletter. So if you haven't already subscribed, I recommend that you do. It goes out once a month on the first of the month, and it lists all of the upcoming events. And then we also share the recordings of previous events. So for example, this event next month, we would share the recording. Our monthly ATB meetup that we do, that I'll talk about in just a moment, we live stream that and we record that as well. So we provide you those recordings. We also let you know what other local events are happening in Australia. So Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, and then also globally for those of you like to travel or have a reason to travel. For example, there's been a lot of events that have been happening here in Dubai, hence why I'm here at the moment. And we put that all in a newsletter for you. So it's a great opportunity for you to connect with other community groups. So go ahead and sign up to that. Now, just a quick few announcements of events, and then we're going to jump into the AMA. Join us on November 13th. It will be our last event in real life at Innovate, for those of you that have been coming to our in real life events. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Hashlock, you can go ahead and come, and they're going to be talking about how not to get wrecked in the Web3 space. They are Web3 security auditors. So go ahead and you can register for that. And if you're not based in Brisbane, you can also join us online. Anybody that is in Sydney or planning on going to the Australian Crypto Convention, the Blockies is on November 21st. So if anyone's interested in attending that event, I myself am up for a couple of awards. So I will 100% be attending and hopefully taking home some awards. Also during that week, we got the Australian Crypto Convention. For anybody that is in Sydney and planning on going or wants to make that trip down there, you can get a 10% discount by using the ATV10 code. And then I think the last event that I have to tell you about today is our Christmas party that we are partnering up with DECA, which is the Digital Economy Council of Australia, formerly known as Blockchain Australia. So if you are based in Brisbane, now this one won't be live streamed because it is just a party. It's just about networking, but please come and join us on the 4th at the precinct. If you want to stay up to date, you can go ahead and scan that. That is our link tree, and it will tell you about a whole bunch of information. So that is it from me. Now I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to hope that my bar doesn't go away. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pass it over. Before actually I pass it over, anybody that as we go through, if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. We're very about interactive and engagement. Now you can put them in the chat. More than welcome at the end when we do the Q&A for you to, turn on your camera or just use your voice and ask a question. If it's during the AMA, just put it into the chat and I will pay attention and then I can ask for the question. But please feel free. I've got some questions that we have prepared to go through, but this is really all for your benefit. So please feel free to ask questions as we go along. All right, Olesia, I'm going to pass it over to you. And I would like to start off by, if you can tell me how to pronounce your last name correctly so that I can practice that. And then just give us a little bit of a background on yourself, a little bit of your journey of how you got into crypto, what led you to where you are today, and then your role with Grineo Pay. If you can just give us a bit of a background.
Sure. So I will start with my last name. Actually, it's not Russian, it's Ukrainian. And that's actually a reason why it is spelled so difficultly, because if it was Russian, they usually do it more simple and it would be easier for you to pronounce. So the pronunciation is Kostieieva. So it's two
Kostieieva.
Kostieieva. Yeah, I know it's difficult.
Yeah.
By the way, it's actually Belarusian. So my grandfather is from Belarus, and the surname comes from there. I'm kind of a mix.
Well, how you say it is beautiful. How I say it, I butcher it. So my apologies.
Well, I just wanted to say that I wish I could speak as fast in English as you do. So we all have our strength,
Yeah.
So about the Grineo and my way to it, I started, my journey in crypto started back in 2017, and it was almost random because I was working back then as a programmer in a virtual reality startup, and we were working at the same office with another crypto startup. And as you know, in 2017, it was like one of the first big hypes for crypto, and all kinds of projects were beginning to pop up. So that's how I got in. There was one startup that invited me to work with them. We were working back then on investment fund. We were trying to make like an easy way in for people into crypto. And then, as you know, December 2017, everything went down, crypto winter and stuff. I continued to work in crypto. We did all kinds of projects like wallets, exchanges. We tried lots of stuff. Some was successful, some were not. I think this is pretty much encapsulates experience of a lot of projects and a lot of people in crypto. So the same was my way. And back in 2021, me and my team, we were thinking of like more ideas and more crypto needs that people have. And we came up with Grineo because what happened is that we were active users by that time for several years already. We were active crypto users ourselves. And we weren't already those kind of users that feel that crypto is kind of a hype. It's something to invest, to trade, to kind of try out or something, it started to become an everyday tool for us. And that's when we recognized the challenge of making it an everyday tool, because every time you wanted to spend crypto on something, like holding it for some time, sometimes you want to spend it. And that's when you encounter this challenge of having to go to exchange. You have to have an account there, you have to pay your fees for deposit, then you have to off-ramp. And all of that, like all of this hustle every time you want to spend crypto. So yeah, and that's when we also started to recognize that it becomes a pattern, because more and more people onboarding to crypto, and we understood the need for this. And that's when we decided to make Grineo. From other side, I want to point out that we recognized as well that for other people who are not getting into crypto, not seeing an opportunity, an easy way, how would you call it, like an easy way back, kind of prevents them from getting into crypto, because this community seems as very closed, and as if you get in, it's kind of difficult to get out, and you have to understand and you have to figure out how it works inside all of those Web3 products. And when for someone it's exciting and it motivates them to get in, for others it might be a blocker. So we kind of recognize that having this bridge for people to exchange, to go back and forth, is very important for mass adoption and for people's opportunity to explore new technology. And that was the idea behind it. That's how we started it. I do all kinds of stuff in Grineo. I communicate with our partners. I'm involved in operations, like all kinds of stuff. So any questions, welcome.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. You definitely have been in the space for a while, so I'm sure you've seen a lot in terms of user adoption from getting involved in, even though it's much easier now. Like I got involved in crypto late 2017 when I had no idea what a bear market or a bull market was, and I quickly learned at the start of 2018. But even myself, like when you said there, I was lucky. I kind of knew some people really well that were in the industry. It was my business partner at the time, and I got a ledger and I bought my first bit of Bitcoin. It was actually sent onto my ledger, but then I wanted to test it, and then to send $100 to CoinSpot to see, because I wanted to actually see the money go back into my bank account, right? And kind of going through all of this. And back then it was quite clunky, and it was a very big learning curve, and your seed words, and all of this just to be able to kind of participate in the ecosystem. And even though we've come a long way since then, there still is quite a few challenges when it comes to new people onboarding, but then also being able to spend it easily, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a couple of other products that I have recently tried to be able to spend my stable coins, and I recently keep coming across different issues with trying to kind of use their platforms. So even though there's people out there that are trying to make it easier, there's still a lot of barriers that come across when using some of these platforms. So I'm excited to learn more about Grineo and what you guys are doing, and this new product and the features that you have, because I feel that some people have one feature, but then not the other feature. So it's kind of like you're constantly having to choose between one or the other. And it's the same with some of the exchanges. It's like, okay, Binance, for example, has a lot cheaper fees. It's very complex. And, for beginners, I generally don't recommend them to use Binance. I recommend them to use an easier platform like CoinSpot, but then, or Digital Surge or say SwiftX, but then, it's more expensive fees. So, it depends on what the service provider. So I'm excited with all of your experience. You've seen it a lot, and you've kind of already explained half of this question on, what kind of inspired the development of Grineo, and that was from, being a user itself and seeing some of those pain points. So could you go a little bit deeper and maybe share with us what are the specific problems that Grineo aims to solve for the users in the cryptocurrency space?
Well, pretty much I would say that, as you mentioned yourself, we are now not in the stage when there's a question of whether crypto will become useful for many people. It's not a question now already. There's a question of whether it will become convenient and easy to use. So our idea behind our product is to make it simpler, make it more intuitive, and make it more available. And that's how we look at this, and that's what drives our focus when we develop the product. So if you would like me to move on to the features in our app, I would love to, or you want to hear more about something else?
Oh, no, we can go with the flow. I've got more questions for you, but it's
Yes.
not, not set in
Okay,
stone.
that's good. That's good. So about the easiness of use, which was our primary focus. Well, our app, first of all, allows to register, to log in with Face ID and Touch ID, which already has become a best practice in the tech industry, not just crypto or stablecoins industry. And that's what we provide for users, like seamless experience for accessing your features, your products. We kept it simple for now inside the app. We feature most commonly used crypto, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, and USDC. What we have, one of the things that we have, which is quite convenient, is that you can deposit and you can withdraw USDC stable coins, USDC and USDT, in both Ethereum and Tron blockchains, which pretty much enables users to seamlessly switch from one blockchain to another inside the product. What else? So pretty much inside the app, we have two products. One is a cryptocurrency wallet, and which enables you to deposit, exchange, and withdraw. And I also mentioned about the cross-chain thing for stable coins. And the second is, and the main is the card. The card, we allow to issue up to 2 cards and to link them to stable coins, 1 card per stable coin. And as soon as users top up their wallets with USDC or USDC, or they top up Bitcoin or Ethereum and exchange into USDC and USDC, they pretty much top up their card. And then they are able to spend it. They can spend it in any way the usual debit card works. So like connecting it to online service, which also which means that you can use only a virtual card if it's more convenient for you, but you can order a physical card as well. And also tapping with physical card, usual user case, and ATM withdrawals of cash is also available with Grineo. Everything seamless, everything convenient. We're striving to make our experience inside the app user-friendly. We're working on making the KYC process seamless and fast, and the app accessible and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the problem that that we solve. And one of the important points here as well is that we ensure 24/7 support for people to ask any questions whenever needed. And also our product, and I'm already getting into our differentiators and differences from our competitors, but I feel that this is quite important, that we try to make the product friendly for crypto users and users that are onboarding to crypto as well. So experience with the card is very similar. So if you have any issues, you can contact support. Not all like digital currency products have that. Not all of them have it available and responsive, as well as the features inside the app are also available. Like you can block the card if there is some issue happen. You can freeze the card if you need. And all of that stuff is available, ensuring that people on board and they experience the same easiness and convenience, still benefiting from using digital currencies.
That's amazing. One of the issues that I've had recently with another provider, and I'm not going to mention any names, is the verification. So I liked how you said that you're going to do the Face ID. So I wanted to actually transfer more money onto my card, but I'm traveling and I've taken out my Australian SIM card because I don't want an expensive phone bill when I get home, and I'm using an eSIM. So the only way that they could verify was through sending me a text message. And then one, they didn't have 24-hour support. So I had to send a message and I had to wait till the next day until they responded. And I said, well, can you verify me another way? Like my email, or like, can I add a 2FA? And then they're like, no, that's the only way. And I'm like, well, that's a bit silly. I was like, there's so many other ways that you could verify my identity, biometrics, actually add a 2FA, like a Google Authenticator. You could send it to my email. Here in Dubai, I've noticed everyone uses WhatsApp. So like I've been able to put my phone number, because my phone number is still attached to my WhatsApp, and then they send a code to my WhatsApp, and then that's how I verify that I am who I am. So there's all these other ways for them, and it was like, nope, they've just given me one option. So that was, you literally, I literally went through that last week, and I was like, okay, so I can't, and then I can't log into my account on their desktop. It's only in the app. So it was definitely a problem. So I'm excited that you guys are solving that problem, and you've thought about that as that user experience, that you haven't just kind of thought of a one way. And I said to them, I was like, people lose their phone numbers all the time. What happens if I lost my phone and I had to get a new SIM? Like, how do you make it easy for me to verify I am who I am? So I'm excited about that. Now there is, as for new people that come into the crypto industry, generally as educators or, videos, they learn about how, not your keys, not your crypto, and you shouldn't leave your money, large amounts of money on exchanges, et cetera, et cetera. But obviously when we want to be able to spend money, or if you trade quite a lot, then you keep a certain amount on exchanges. Like myself, I have a majority of my assets in my ledger, but then I obviously keep some, for easy accessibility for spending. But there's still the concern of the provider that we're using, that those funds and the data is being kept safe. If we look at FTX, for example, they claimed that they had 1-for-1, but clearly they didn't. And then you also look at some of the cases where there's been hacks with personal data, like Ledger. It's funny, I went to their event the other day and they were talking about hacks, but they did not mention any of the hacks that they had. They didn't publicly address. So my question is, what is Grineo doing to kind of make sure that their users kind of feel safe and comfortable that the funds that they're keeping on their card and their personal data is safe?
Well, you have mentioned quite an important point about FTX. This is a pity when a project of such scale goes down and brings everyone else down in the industry. So kind of bringing the problem into the space for everyone else, and the reputation of all the crypto projects suffers instead of just one. And so what do we do? Well, first of all, about the FTX, apparently we know that the problem wasn't in security issues, IT issues, or anything. It was about the behavior of their management. So the issue there was, I think, more about the lack of regulation and lack of observations about their actions. So Grineo is, first of all, is fully regulated by Austrac, and we are compliant with all the regulations. We are also part of the digital economy sorry if I got the end of it, like former Blockchain Australia, and we passed all the necessary assessments there. And our insurance of the security of the safetiness of user funds starts again with the passkey technology. Like from entering into the app, you are not required to share your passwords with us because we implement this technology. Then when you get in and you send us your funds, we implement all the best practice technologies like PCI DSS for data storage, 3D secure for transactions, SSL encryption. So all the best practices in the space we implement, as well as to ensure that we did our best. We recently partnered with Hashlock that you mentioned just 10 minutes ago. So they performed the audit of our system, and they were satisfied with that, gave their positive review. But what we do is we ensure continuous monitoring of the system in those regard, and the review of the audits are going to be continuous as well. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Unless there's anybody in the audience, just a reminder, feel free to put questions in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll take some of those questions. But yeah, I think oh, Willow has a question. Go ahead, Willow.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. My question might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but just about what you're seeing as far as adoption, and just coming at it from the angle of I'm traveling around with my Grineo Pay and my cards, and you're traveling the world. How is the vendor adoption side of things, and what are we seeing there as far as it's great to have an app that's going to be seamless and feel like just a normal payments system. But are we going to be able to walk into, like, when is it, how long till we can walk into places around the world, and more often than not, we'll be able to use a stable coin, like a regulated stable coin, or some ETH Bitcoin, or some other altcoins?
Let me make sure that I understand you right. Answering first, Grineo is partnering with Visa, so our cards work everywhere where Visa works. And pretty much from outside, it doesn't even look as if you're using crypto, you're just using regular card in a usual way. So like 100 million merchants support that. If you're asking about how far we are from paying directly with crypto, I think we are quite far. And that's actually like the reason why we went the other way, because onboarding all of the merchants is quite a job. And it's easier to provide crypto users, stablecoin users, with a solution to spend it at any merchant around the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Willow. I think let us know if she didn't answer your question. But for anybody that was in Brisbane,
no, that's great. Like I needed that distinction between having the onboarding process through Visa, and how that just automatically brought in the crypto side of things against what we're going to see as far as using crypto directly. So that was good to hear.
Thanks.
Good. I'm glad that she answered your question. That does lead me into a question before I share this story. There was in 20 gosh, all the years are trying to blend together. I want to say it was like 2019. There was something called Crypto Valley. So for any of those of you that are familiar or live in Brisbane, it was being led by a company, I think it was called Traveler at the time. Anyways, they were trying to onboard merchants, and there was about 20 restaurants in the valley that you could go and you could pay with Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum, and we hosted our events back then at one of the vendors, as they accepted crypto. But the thing is, it was just too difficult. It was too difficult. They had to have a different FBOS machine, like a, a different terminal to be able to take the crypto payments. And then that meant the merchant had to like train all of their staff how to use it. And then the different people wanted to pay in the different currencies. And then, and actually, for serving drinks, it was a much slower process rather than just like the way. And then fast forward, there's more providers now, and I know that there's some competitors on your market. I'd say crypto.com was probably one of the first to really hit the market with their card, and be able to kind of offer that solution. And now that there's many more, it's the first one that I've heard that, the other ones that I've heard of have mainly been MasterCard, but it seems to be MasterCard and Visa have yet to see one with Amex. So somebody asked me a question today and was like, oh, if we were, offering this reward, what a reward system, like what would you want to see? And one of the barriers that is going to stop me from using these cards is I've recently got an Amex Qantas card because I want to spend everything on it so I can get my Qantas points so that I can get upgrades because I'm flying so much these days. So my question is do you see down the track like an opportunity for you guys to have partnerships with airlines where people could be still earning those rewards when using the Grineo Pay card?
Well, we are definitely looking into this. Well, this product is, I'll be honest, it's a piece of work. And we are going step by step. But in the long term, or hopefully middle term future, yes, we would love to partner with airlines for sure.
Yeah, perfect. That would be amazing. All right. If anybody else, now, Willa, do you have another question? Because your hand is still up, or is that from before? Otherwise, I'll keep going. I'm going to assume it's from before. So you already kind of talked about the security and compliance and regulations. So you've answered that question for me. You've talked a little bit about comparison already. I'm just kind of going through the questions that I had prepared for you. So if you can actually maybe take us through some of the kind of key features, and I think this will kind of tie into also doing a little bit more of comparison of some of the other current cards that are on the market of the Grineo app and how users can benefit from them.
Well, it depends on the user. So pretty much what we are, who we are for is for crypto users that would love to spend their stable coins. And it may be in different occasions, like in the daily usage. And we already have like analytics. We know, by the way, from Crypto.com, I think that their users mostly use the card for daily purchases, like in the supermarket or something. But I'm really actually glad that you mentioned the airlines, because for some reason I have this feeling as well that that would be a great use case. And a part of the reason is that I think that stablecoin digital currency cards is a convenient solution for people who travel both inside the country and outside, meaning that, for example, foreign residents in Australia who come from other countries, they can use blockchain for cross-border transactions and benefit from blockchain in this way, but then they somehow spend to use stablecoins inside the country, and that's when the debit card comes in. Another use case is for travelers who go abroad. I myself recently went to Bali, and during first 3 days, I think, I lost my bank card. Well, I didn't lose it actually. It was stolen, but that's a whole different story. So like having another card is like a very convenient thing. There's no such thing as too many cards, to be honest, in this world. And by the way, getting back to your question about the differences, just like I mentioned before, so our cards, they have same functionality as usual debit cards, and just like bringing this situation that I had when I lost the card, I had to go and immediately block it. So that's what you have in Grineo, and it's different. It's from our competitors. Not everyone has that. Not everyone has this how would you say, like 360 view on the needs of the user, starting from the convenient onboarding and ending with the opportunity to freeze block card, like have this different scenarios covered. And as well as support that I mentioned, I think this is one of our key competitive advantages, because we tested other supports, and even the support of banks or other kinds of services. I'm, by the way, I'm currently also in Dubai, so we could have this conversation in person, actually. I didn't know that. So I sometimes use support, and I'm already used to the fact that I have to almost like scream at chatbot to call human for me to ask my question, because you know, all kinds of services, they implement those chatbots that are supposed to help, like, and solve your questions, but in fact they're trying just to decrease the workload for their support. But this provides not the sometimes it provides not the best experience for the user. So like sometimes I'm spending like 5 minutes till I get to the human and I actually get the answer that was kind of urgent, actually. So our support covers 24/7, and it's available in live chat as well as on email. So it's possible to solve your issues quite fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Now, this was not a crypto merchant provider. It was just a traditional provider. Airwallex, I actually don't mind saying their name because they're not any of the competitors, but I had a horrible experience with them, and they operate Monday to Friday from like 9 to 5. I was like, so I had to wait 4 days for them to respond, and that meant my money was frozen. I couldn't get it transferred. I couldn't figure out. It's a very long story, but they basically froze my account, and then I had a supplier, a vendor paying their invoice, and then because they froze my account, that bounced, and then so it took me 2 weeks basically to get the money, and it took me 5 days. And so I'm actually now looking for another provider that can. Somebody told me to use Revolut, and that they're a better service provider. But yeah, it's sometimes until you start, you know, and I never really realized these pain points until I started doing a lot of international business and having different, you know, clients that wanted to pay me in different currencies, and then also pay. Like when I was organizing the event at Token, you know, I needed to get paid in USD. I needed to pay in Singapore. Like I was really doing all these fees. So, you know, when you're just in, you know, your home country and you're earning in Australian and you're spending in Australian, and, you know, you use a bank like ING Direct where you don't even pay any bank fees or anything, you don't notice it so much. But yeah, when you're starting to do kind of international travel, you know, Combank, every time they charge me like an international transaction fee, you know, so I don't want that. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of benefits, and you got to look at the provider that you're using and the different features that they have. I'm not sure if there was a question that just popped up, or does Grineo support small business entities as well, such as small business trusts? I'm not talking about media. I'm talking about medium to large corporates. Actually, that's a good question, because one of another kind of crypto card provider didn't have an opportunity for me to create a business account with them, which was another barrier for me for using their product, because I couldn't send my invoices in stable coins and then get it paid straight into the card and then use that for like business expenses. So will you guys offer business accounts?
That's kind of an insight for me, which I'm grateful for. Thanks for mentioning that. No, we weren't looking into that, but we were looking for into other like options for services for businesses, but not into business accounts. So I'm definitely going to look into it after our talk.
Okay, so I guess Martin, that answers your question. You guys are relatively new in terms of launching this product, right? I think you just like officially launched a couple of months ago. So if I'm correct?
We officially launched in Google Store just recently, and we are going to launch in the next couple of weeks in Apple Pay, Apple's
Yeah.
App Store.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always getting confused because they usually Google and Apple are called same in everything, but App Store and Google Play are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think that answers Martin's questions, but it would definitely be something for me because I have my business and I don't, if I accept crypto, it has to go to my exchange and then I have to cash it out and then deposit it into my bank account for business. So yeah, that would definitely be a feature that I would be interested in, and I'm sure it sounds like, Martin would also be interested in making it easy to be able to spend the, or purchase things and expenses. And my accountant too, she would want to be able, that's actually another question. And I know that we're getting towards the time, and I think let me see if I've got a couple more questions that I have prepared for you, but before I jump into that, do you have easy like reporting? Because that's the first thing my tax accountant is going to ask me is, can you provide me your report of your spending? So yes, have you thought about that?
Yes, we did. So we don't provide it right now, but this is going to be like one of the first features that we are going to work on right after launch. I just want to share with you the story. So I come from Ukraine and I lived in Russia for several years. And I want to tell you that people there are quite different in terms of willingness to pay taxes. And also in Dubai, there is a zero tax policy, and people come to Dubai because of that. So again, the mentality different. And the last year when we were at the AusCryptoCon, which we, by the way, will be participating this year as well, I got multiple people coming to us and asking about that particular feature, which got me super surprised. But after that, we looked into it and we realized that it's really important for Australian audience. And yes, we will definitely be working on it.
Okay, good. Well, my accountant, I don't know if you know Marina. She is the founder of Sila. She'll also be at OzCon. If you don't know her, I'll introduce you. But they have a tax accounting software, and they can just plug into the API. So all of my exchanges, I just plug into the API. So if you don't know her, I'll introduce you, and then I'm sure she would be happy to make sure that she can just plug into the API, and all of my spending is there and easy for accounting. Okay, well, that was actually going to take me into the next things is kind of partnerships and how you're kind of getting involved in community. Well, before we talk about OzCon and kind of other local kind of partnerships that you have in Australia, I know that you've recently kind of taken it out of the box approach and partnered with some motorsports teams and events, and heard that you're also sponsoring the ADL 500, and just kind of want to understand what is your kind of rationale and reasoning behind this approach?
Well, pretty much it's two-sided, but both sides correlate with each other. First, the values of the idea of motorsport is pretty much resembles values of Grineo. It's innovativeness, it's efficiency, it's speed of transactions. It's it's speed of transactions and efficiency of them. So, well, that's first. Second is we understand that the audience of the racing events is they are tech enthusiasts. They are excited about the innovation, about the tech innovations and about exciting stuff, which crypto is. That's how we feel about it, at least. So we feel that there is a big overlap of audience of crypto products and interesting people interested in racing, and that's why we try to do take this approach. I think we will meet a lot of our users there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. I love that. Now, can you tell us about any other kind of partnerships or collaborations that are in the pipeline, or any kind of other partnerships that you have, within Australia, and kind of how they align with your bigger goal of growth and innovation within the Web3 space?
Well, we are definitely getting into the community. We started last year when we came to and we sponsored Blockies and Australia CryptoCon, and this year as well we're going to sponsor, apart from a Delegate 500 Aus CryptoCon, we're going to visit Blockies as well. By the way, last year, for being immersed first time into Australian crypto community, it was surprising to find out how friendly and kind of a family vibe it is. Everyone knows everyone, everyone supports everyone. It was very nice to find out. Yes, so we are thrilled to become a part of Australian CryptoCon, DECA, Women in Blockchain in Australia. I'm going to participate as it evolves. Also, we partnered with Australian influencer again, by the way, who's a racer. But not he doesn't participate in Australian in a Delegate 500, but he's a racer, and we have sponsored him. So he has this cool Grineo branded racing car, traveling around Australia and winning places. I think more is to come. One of the first is going to be with Tex. Hashlock already, and probably coming in the future, as this is a continuously needed service, and more to come.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. Before we wrap it up, just if anybody has any last minute questions, please feel free to put up your hand or pop them into the chat. But my last question is, as Grineo is growing and expanding, because we know that you're a new product onto the market, what is one way, if anybody was interested in testing out your product, what are the steps, and where is the best place for them to keep up to date with new features and things that you are going to be releasing for the rest of this year and next year?
Well, I think the best way would be to visit our website, because we have a very interesting blog. We also have a presence on Twitter and on Discord. By the way, I forgot to mention that our support is present on Discord as well. So for anyone who prefers that channel, it's available. So if you are willing, you can subscribe to our newsletter, and we will let you know about any upcoming features. And as soon as we are online in Apple, in App Store, for those who use iPhones, please join, please test, please give us feedback. And for those who use Android, we are already live. So please come in and share your feedback. We are willing to know more about how do you feel about our product, and communicate about it.
Oh, that's amazing. One last question. Somebody else that I was speaking with that has a startup also launched on Android and is waiting for Apple Store. So is it just generally, is Apple harder to deal with, or do they make you jump through more hoops, or why does everyone seem to launch on Androids first and then Apple comes second?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case. And it's not just the case. So I mean, for fintech applications, it's worse than for anything else, which is understandable, because it deals with very vulnerable assets. But it's the case for all the applications. Apple is more, I don't know, maybe requires more time. First of all, more time to think, and second of all, more documents. They're more cautious about letting applications in. But that's all possible to deal with. anyway, we are trying to make our product as good as possible. So it's not like we are against Apple's suggestions or Apple requirements. The only thing that it just slows down our launch. That's the only, I would say, negative side of it.
Yeah, it seems to be a common trend with Apple, which I know is industry wide. Well, thank you so much for your time today and giving us these insights. I'm excited. I personally haven't had a chance to dive in and test out the project because I've been traveling. I was in Singapore and then I was in Vietnam and then I'm in Dubai, but I'm heading back to Brisbane next week for a few weeks at Australian CryptoCon. So I'm excited to dive in and definitely test out the product. Also be working with you over the next year as you are one of our event sponsors for 2025. So please keep your eyes and ears out, everyone. We'll be doing an in-person event in Brisbane at some point with Grineo, and feel free if you have any questions, as you said, jump onto their website or jump onto their support and provide them some feedback on anything that you come across. Because with any new startup, if people don't provide us suggestions or feedback, you know, how can we make improvements to the product? So don't be shy. We're, you know, as a community, we all support each other. I say in my classroom, it's all about peer-to-peer learning. You know, it's about kind of doing this effectively together. So feel free, and as you said, they're open to that feedback. So thank you so much again for your time. Maybe we'll be able to catch up together in Dubai. I'm only here for the rest of the week, but I will be out and about at all of the events. Otherwise, I'm definitely going to see you at Australian CryptoCon in a few weeks.
Yes, and just one more thing to mention. We will be seeing you in Australia in November personally on on AusCryptoCon and hopefully on Blockies first. And for people who are listening to us, I would like to invite you over to AusCryptoCon as well, and you can use promo code Grineo to get your 10% discount for your tickets. And
Perfect.
also just to mention that on the AusCryptoCon, we are sponsoring keynote stage, and we will be on stage announcing our next project and expansion of Grineo.
Oh, perfect. Fantastic. Well, I'll be there and I look forward to it. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm glad that I got through the technical difficulties. That was really stressful, but I know Zoom must have a new feature. But thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll see you all soon.
Thank you for having me. Bye.